Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host Marcy. It's
Hello.
episode 65. Um,
Yes.
it also is our last episode
Don't say it.
of the season. I have to say it now. Make sure, because I mean, it's our last episode of the season. We'll take more time to talk about it when we end, and we'll get all emotional and sappy about it. But it is our last episode, and we've been talking about it for quite a couple of weeks, how this will be our last episode, because somebody is taking a trip to go up to
God
Scottish
forbid
Highlands where cell service is
get my degree.
non-existent.
God forbid I want to pass the year.
But it is all right. It will be good for us to take a break. Because slowly you'll run out of things to talk about, and I don't think people want to listen.
And
I don't know.
If we never ever took a break from this, we would slowly just morph into one more than we already have. And I don't think anyone wants that.
I don't think anyone wants that. No, and I also think as well, we are nearing the point of the season where the news kind of slows down. I say this considering everything that happened yesterday, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you hit a point in the off season where
there's only so many Letterboxd reviews I can give before we both just want to end it all.
Yeah, there's only so many times. We're 11 days into July, and there's already discussions about trading not just Mitch Marner, but also Austin Matthews and William Nylander. So we don't want to ever get to that stage. So us taking a break for about 6 weeks is a good thing.
It's our own little mini off season. And then
we deserve a break too.
As with all our favourite players, you'll just get little off season crumbs from us.
Yeah.
Which is just me relentlessly sweet 24/7.
Yeah, no, that we have been doing 2 shows a week pretty much consistently since we started this show in November. Which, when you think about it, is kind of crazy.
Yeah. That's weird. I don't like it. It's so long.
Yeah. We've done 65 we're 65 episodes in, and we're a year into the show. What year? We're a season in. We're not a year yet, but we'll get there. And so we deserve a break, and that's why we're taking one. And yeah. But we'll talk about you may get an emergency episode or 2 or a bonus fun episode at some point through the 6 weeks. It's not like we're going cold turkey.
No.
For us.
That's not possible.
But Mara is going to be in the Scottish Highlands for 3 weeks. So I have some emergency co-hosts on call that I can call up if need be, because if I was left alone to talk to myself and I had to do this show by myself, I don't think I would produce something that could be put on the internet, considering what happens when I just let myself start to talk on this show with Marcy here with me.
Just a spiraling.
It just won't end well, because I will say something so deeply embarrassing that it just won't go well.
Yeah.
Like 32 Thoughts, there's a reason there's 2 of us.
Yeah.
I have a long list of people who are chomping at the bit to fill in as emergency co-hosts.
I'm gonna come back and you'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's 5 of us now.
We've reached panels. We've reached intermission panel status, but worse, because we do not have a time limit.
Oh god, that's a night. I have nightmares about that. Sends shivers down my spine.
Yeah, I don't know where to start because we can start two different ways. I think we'll start with the topic that I honestly didn't think that we were going to talk about again for a while.
Mm.
And it's not even NHL related. We're
Yes.
back talking about PWHL Minnesota for the 4th episode this season.
And you'll never guess what, guys. It's not good.
Wow, shocker. So Ian Kennedy released an article yesterday
Love
that
Ian Kennedy.
I just want to read out the headline because it kind of says a lot. Here we go. This is the headline from Ian Kennedy via the Hockey News. More PWHL Minnesota staff dismissed from quote unquote toxic and unprofessional environment. Ken Klee dismissed more members of Natalie Darwitz's former PWHL Minnesota staff. The now former staff describe a toxic and unprofessional environment in Minnesota. There's a couple of segments that I just wanna like read out. One of the points that I do want to bring up is that was that there was this internal review done by Bloom Sports that was done, I guess it sounded like it was done, but like when Jayna Hefford talked about it earlier in June about these internal reports and investigations that were done, they were done at all six teams, the PWHL, just as a way to see like, okay, first season, inaugural season is done. What does it look like internally? Because internally can be very different than the on-ice external results that us as fans or even members of the media see, right? So she described this report as not glowingly positive, and that apparently was what led to the change in personnel in Minnesota, which was that Natalie Darwitz, who was the GM, was fired. We're gonna say fired because she was fired at the end of the day, but it was like mutually parted ways, which is PR speak for she was fired, but we don't want to. But we'll still get a recommendation from us if need be. Like we don't want to like totally score on her resume or her record or whatever. But the former PWHL staff member who was asked to stay anonymous spoke about the third-party consultation from Bloom Sports that the league claimed was the basis for Darwitz's dismissal. According to the source, members of the Bloom team vocally acknowledged that there was a common theme when staff expressed concern over the culture under Ken Klee, not the culture under Darwitz, which essentially means you fired the wrong person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you fired the wrong person, if that's what's being said. But further in the article, Ian Kennedy talks about he talks about the previous reports about how staff walked in on Klee and Captain Kendall Schofield planning the PWHL draft prior to the dismissal of Darwitz, and asked and was like, hey, where's the GM? According to the newly dismissed staff, there was pre-planning to this move as well. The now dismissed staff state that they were contacted recently by other members of the Minnesota hockey community saying that Ken Klee had reached out to them inquiring about hiring them for coaching roles prior to contacting the staff who were set to be let go. Jeez, like
not it's like everything that you're supposed to do in a situation like this, they've looked at and just gone, you know what, we're gonna do the opposite. And that'll solve all our problems.
The staff go further on to say, I don't know if Ken Klee is the general manager. I don't know if Ken Klee is the head coach. I've never been part of something more unprofessional, which this is exactly what it is, because we never got a statement saying who would fill in as interim GM when Darwitz was fired. We just got, oh, she's fired. We are looking for someone to fill that position. And then the stories come out that Ken Klee apparently was trying to get the position, didn't get the job. Someone else was hired as head coach. Then that person got fired shortly before the season began. Then Ken Klee was brought in. And then, as we found ourselves further here, there was part of that divide was between Clee and Darwitz. They were butting heads. There was times where you could tell Ken and Natalie went above and beyond not to cross paths. The former staff believe that the fact that they supported Darwitz played a role in their dismissal, which, holy crap.
Yikes.
There's scroll more. Yeah. It's just very clear that Kendall has a lot of power, referring to Kendall Coyne Schofield. This year, both inside the league and within with the team inside the organization. There were people that told us she had called lines on the bench. She just had a lot of power for a player on the team, which is exactly what we keep coming back to. It was like, yes, okay. She was the player that reached out to Billie Jean King and was like, hey, we should make this a thing. We should get this league off the ground and running, which is very admirable to do. Right? But then it becomes to a point where you have to decide, okay, do I want to be a member of the front office of either the league or a team, or do I want to be a player? Because if you want to be a player, then you have to stick within that role of I'm a hockey player, right? If you want to be more involved and operate on the operation side of things, on the off ice side of things, you then have to leave your position as a player and you have to take a position in a front office. You cannot do both. There is no other professional sports league where this is allowed to happen, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's like this wouldn't even like be a what if this happened in the NHL, because it wouldn't.
No, like that's the thing, is we've talked about it when we've talked about this in the past. We've kind of put this in the basis of this is like if John Tavares went above Brad Treliving and talked to Gary Bettman. Like, right? How stupid does that sound? That jump in the ladder of power, like in an organization, just does not happen.
Yeah, I don't even know. And I'm just like really annoyed about it all, because it's like I don't care how much of a role you had in like the creation of the league. You are still a player within that league. You have a role. It doesn't matter how much influence you had on like actually creating the league and like allowing this to happen. You're just a player. You're not. That's it.
Yeah.
You stay within that. Like,
and if you want to participate in the administrative side of things, which operations, which yes, I understand players still have an interest in that. Like, duh. Look at all of the former players who go off to be head coaches and GMs. But the PWHL has a players association. They're a unionized group of players. You can participate still in that organizational side of things while still maintaining player and not crossing too many lines and creating too many gray areas by being a part of the players association. Right? We see that all the time in the NHL. Every team has at least one, if not two, because they have like a substitute, an alternate representation of at the players in the players association, the NHLPA, who represent their team, and they attend meetings and all those sort of things in the same way that you would have like a union rep, right? And you can still have that participation if you still want to continue playing. And then when you decide for yourself, okay, it's time for me to step away from the game, it's time for me to stop playing, then you can get more involved with the coaching or the front office or the organizational or like the league side of things that you may want to get involved in.
And it's like, it's as well, another thing about
you're capable of doing it.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not like she's not aware that this is a route that she can take, because it's so common.
Oh yeah.
It's not as if she's like, oh well, I want to be more involved like with the off ice stuff, but I don't know how to go about that. It's like, no, it's a very clear, like it happens all the time. You are well aware of how this needs to happen if that's what you want to do.
especially because it's like, and it's not like a thing where it's like she could be like, well, I'm like, very, very veteran in my play and, and how long I've been in women's hockey as a player. Like, I should be given these different opportunities. Okay, what about Marie-Philippe Poulin? She has been in like women's hockey for as long as I can remember. She is perfectly capable at remaining a player. And she still, participate. And before you said, well, maybe she doesn't have interest in organization. She is, she works with the Montreal Canadiens in their player development. So it's possible to do that. She just doesn't do it with her own team because that's not her place. Natalie Spooner, the same way, has been a huge, long veteran presence in women's hockey and has been there for over a decade, is able to stay as a player and not, involve herself with front office decisions because that's not her place because she is a hockey player at this present moment.
Yeah. And as well, like, I think a big thing about it is it's like, even if she's like, oh, but there's so many things I want to do, and it's like, okay, that's great that you want to get involved in so many different areas, but sometimes that's just not possible.
Yeah.
And it's like that. Like,
she's only 32.
It's a shame. Yeah, she's not like
only 30.
She's 32.
No, she's only 32. She's so much time to still be able to play out the rest of a very long career and then go on to participate in, the front office side of the team or the league or wherever she wants to be. Like, I think it's really admirable the way that she helped get this league off the ground and running.
Oh, yeah.
She reached out to Billie Jean King, and then that is when you go, okay, like at the point when then, more staff starts to get hired, there is a point where it's appropriate for you to go, okay, I've done enough. I've helped you get it running. It's been great. I'm going to take a step back and revert back to my position as a player because that's what I want to do. There's more from this Ian Kennedy article that I want to read through because it gets crazier. The rumblings from the lower end girls were basically that they feel bullied by the veterans and the leadership group because they are all tight with Ken and they've got Ken's ear, of the former staff said. Ken was telling players to not go on the ice because they are taking reps away from the important players who are actually going to play. What the actual... I don't want to swear this early into the episode. Fill in the blank.
That's... How is that even...
That's crazy. That's great. Like, that's
I read that.
Awful.
I read that and I was like, jaw on the floor. Like, how... Right, first off, my main issue with this, how has this been allowed and how has it been allowed to get to this point? Because it's like, that's a horrible thing to have to like hear.
Speaking from personal experience, getting told something like that is how you fall out of love with a sport.
Yeah.
I often talk about how I grew up ski racing. I think I bring it up all the time. And I think, when I often talk about it, and because now I coach as well, like now I coach through Christmas camps and things like that. When I always loved ski racing. It was my favorite. Like, I love skiing. It's my favorite thing. I never felt like I didn't want to go to the hill, except for one year where I had the only time a coach ever made me not want to go and ski and show up for training because she was that mean, that awful of a person. And like, this isn't, and like that so like, and that's so result motivated that at the end of the day, like if you weren't, if you just weren't at that level where you were winning every race, she didn't have time for you and didn't want to give you the time of day. And before you say, oh, well, maybe because you were on a competitive, like you skied competitively, Emma, maybe it was because I was 12.
It's like
I was told at 12 years old that you will not, it's not worth it for me to pay attention to you because you are not going, no matter what I do, it is not going to change your results to the point that I'm willing to give you the time of day. Is the message that I took away from things. And there was a lot more things that happened, but it was like, essentially at the end of the day, it was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to spend my time on you because there are people who, you know, are winning races who I'm going to pay attention to, and I'm going to give my coaching to, because you're not worth it to give your coaching to, because you're also, mind you, skiing is a very gravity motivated sport at the end of the day, especially when you're 12 years old. And if you saw any pictures from when let me put it this way, I was about maybe 5 feet and like 90 pounds. I was a little twig of a thing, right? Like 12-year-old me was a tiny little squirt of a thing who basically like had the basis for good technique, but just wasn't winning because every girl I was racing with against easily had about 4 inches and 20 pounds on me. Yeah. Get that image into your head, right? So it's not like, at the end of the day, oh, I'm not winning. Yeah, because it's not my fault. Like I can't. There's only so much I can do at 12 years old to
it's like, I'm so like, sorry
for go faster
of a child.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for being on the smaller side of the child development scale.
It's
sorry. Apologies for my genetic makeup making me a late bloomer. It doesn't give you a reason. It doesn't give you an excuse to be a bitch to me. Also, I'm 12. I'm not going to the Olympics.
Yeah, literally. It's like, it's so...
And I understand this is pro sports. You're going to be like, oh, well, it's different. And I'm like, it's still the same mean, evil coaching methods. That's like, if you're willing to use that against a 12-year-old, like, these are also like fully grown adults and women.
Yeah, literally. It's because everyone knows by now, I play field hockey and I love it. There was a period from, I think I was 16, where we got a new coach and I hated everything about it, and it became like such a like toxic, awful team that I stopped playing for 2 years. I quit the team, and I stopped playing completely because I hated it so much. And it's like, that all happened within this, it was what, 3 months, where it went from loving it, new coach, hating it, and then it hit Christmas and I was like, I'm just not going back.
Yeah, so like that was the thing.
Like, that's funny. That's like, because I was 16, 17 then, so I was older than you were when it happened. So it's like, I'm closer in age to like the people that it's happening, like the women it's happening to there, and it's like, if that like messed me up age 16 in a, not, it was like, it was very much like not a big, massive, crazy competitive team. That's the thing. It was like, it was more for fun, and it still got to that point, and it's like, they are stronger than me. They are much stronger than me, because
especially like it's a thing where it's like, you also have to think about it this way. This is these women's, like, this is their job. This isn't like us. We're like, oh yeah, it's the sport that we did because, you know, we're kids and we have to stay fun and active and healthy, blah, 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 right? This is their job. Could you imagine going into work and being like, yeah, no, sorry, don't come into work today because I don't want you taking opportunities away from the people who are better at their job. I'm not, but in doing that, I'm going to take away opportunities for you to get better at your job. which then leads into this next paragraph that I'm going to read. According to the former staff, they feel the dysfunction within the PWHL and PWHL Minnesota are the reason Minnesota has seen players retiring and leaving, stating it's not because they want to retire.
Oh boy.
Which leads back, which is like totally the conversation that we just had, where it's like, you could love a sport so much, you could dedicate your entire life to it, and you could have one coach that makes you it absolutely the worst thing in the entire world for you to do, to the point that you just quit because that's the easiest option. And like, I think, we heard it when Mike Babcock was in Toronto with Mitch Marner. Like, it's right. It's a never ending story. There's always going to be bad coaches there. And that's always going to be something that happened. And I think, it sucks that it's happening in an inaugural season of a women's league, where it's like this, like a pro league, where like this is such a huge thing because this is the largest platform that professional women's hockey has been on in North America. And it's like this at the team that won the championship, right? Like, that's the thing too. It's like,
that's what makes it even worse, because it's like they went from, in the space of 2-3 days, they went from everyone being like, oh my god, they won, like, this is great, everyone's like really happy, to this team has issues. And it's like, it's ended the season on a really sour note, where it's like, we should all like just be able to enjoy it and be really happy about it, and like celebrate a league that's like
not the first of its kind.
No, but it's like on the scale.
We've never, like, it's professional women's hockey in North America has never gotten this level of focus.
Yeah. And it's like, we should be celebrating that. We shouldn't have to be discussing that absolute shit show that is PWHL Minnesota. But
it gets worse.
Yay!
Last night, and shout out to Ian Kennedy for this, but last night around 8 p.m., if you're familiar at all with Teamwork Online, which, if you ever have wanted to work in sports in North America, you are 100% familiar with Teamwork Online. It is probably one of my like top visited sites, not even like because I'm looking for jobs in hockey or looking for jobs in sports. It's just because I get curious. I'm like, ooh, what are like the job requirements for this job? Or like, like, what would I have to have on my resume to work like this job in, I don't know, Pittsburgh? I'm probably never gonna move to Pittsburgh.
But it's like you're.
But it's fun to look and scroll through. But essentially, it's a job posting board where for teams to post job openings for a bunch of pro leagues. Like, MLS is on there, NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, college. They have like Olympic postings on there. They have motorsports postings on there. They have like any sport you can think of, they probably will have job postings on there for you. But there was a posting on there posted by PWHL for the PWHL Minnesota GM job. I kid you not. You can go on there and you can apply for the GM position of PWHL Minnesota, which I think is a little bit of karma against Ken Klee, because he very openly wanted that job, and it's been heavily reported that he was after that job before the season started. And
should I apply?
I honestly think I sent this into the offside. The offside Discord has a channel for job postings where we just like are like, oh, look at this job posting. I didn't do that. I put it in news, but I was like this close to putting it in job post and be like, hey guys, guess what?
Oh my god, no. Me when I apply for the job, come September, guess where I'm gonna be?
St. Paul, baby.
Woohoo!
Twin Cities. Brock Faber, new best friend.
Oh my god, Brock Faber brunch.
But like, I think it's hilarious because it's like one of the job requirements is like 7 years of like team management opportunities. And I think I did see someone say, being like, finally somewhere I can put all of my years of experience as armchair GM. Honestly, you know what? And I do feel bad for the front office because like there is an HR department that like would have to sort through all of these applications and to like find the candidates that actually like are eligible, like fit the requirements and the qualifications. But I do think it's hilarious thinking about how there's all these people who are just applying because they publicly posted a GM job. Like all these unqualified people that posted a GM job. Although I do think there's a lot of people on Twitter who could run PWHL Minnesota better than how it's currently run. But I think it's hilarious. And I thought that was hilarious because you just like, what other pro sports league would post a job opening for GM on Teamwork Online?
Could you imagine just having like your little scroll through like and just be like GM wanted GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Okay, well they would put that on the MLSE careers page because they have their own job posting page that's specific to MLSE. But like even when like I know this because I often check the MLSE careers page. I'm a regular, okay? I'm a regular and I regularly check like all of them, okay? I just want to know what's out there. I don't finish school for like another year, but still. But I was like scrolling like whatever, like could you imagine like last summer you came across a job posting for Toronto Maple Leafs general manager on like the MLSE careers page? That's crazy. That's a crazy idea. You could have like Uncle Tom from Markham applying to be the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs, being like, "Well, I was the
7 years of cat friendly under my belt.
I was the team manager of little Tommy's house league hockey team for 4 years, and now I spend my time putting up bad Mitch Marner mock trades using Cat Friendly's armchair GM tool."
Rest in peace, Cat Friendly.
Rest in peace, Cat Friendly. But yeah, could you like that's crazy. You don't do that because especially because it's a job like that where it's like you would have the network available and you would have the people in charge who have the connections who would have a list. Like you would have a short list when you're looking for this job of people to reach out to and be like, do you want to work here? Which makes me think that like either it's to show the like who knows, like maybe give it 6 weeks and we could have Ken Klee announced as the GM of the team, and then it could have just been for appearances to be like, hey, look, we are looking for someone because look, we have this job posting that went up. Or who knows, because who even is in charge of this freaking team right now? Who knows? Right? Like
great question. That
yeah, but or it's like it, or like, do you have a short list? Like, who is doing the hiring? Like, that's the thing that I really don't understand about the way that PWHL is structured right now. Is for a position like general manager, who is doing the hiring? Is it the league? So it's the league who wants to try and find a candidate for a team, or is there a hiring committee within the team? Because like this is where it then gets very weird, because then you're like, imagine if Gary Bettman was the one who was making the decisions on who should be hired as a GM for a team. Right? Like that's not how it worked, right? Like I don't know how else to like word it where it just doesn't sound stupid, where I'm like, well, like the league, how do you know the league is going to pick what's best for the team, like values most what the team needs? It's the league. That's anyway, that it's a story, it's a developing story. There'll probably be various updates throughout the summer. I know in August we're supposed to get team names and logos for the entire league, so I'm sure there will be another wave of this and of another wave of news. We still don't know when the season is going to start next year. The assumption is that it's going to start earlier in the year, so that we have more games and we have a longer season.
Yeah.
We will see. Who knows? But yeah, so there hasn't been a lot of information that's being given from the PWHL at the moment.
No.
Which is, always unfortunate when, you just don't get told things. But I guess we can talk about Cat Friendly. R.I.P. Rest in peace.
We need it's times like this where I really wish we did video so we could put a little graph.
Yeah, an in memoriam, the black and white, and it's just various screenshot, should have gone through and just screenshotted the worst trades we could find and just put a black and white a black and white filter over it and go in the arms of it.
It's freaking Mitch Marner for Noah Gregor.
Not even you would do that trade.
No, not you see, I might be delusional, but I'm not that delusional. I contribute to popular belief. I do have some form of common sense. I don't use it very often, but I am in possession of it.
Have a brain. Yeah, so RIP Cat Friendly. Gonna miss you. So, Puckpedia is up. Puckpedia just recently announced their own version of Armchair GM, which was fantastic to look through. And it'd been up for 20 minutes and there was already multiple awful Mitch Marner trades. And I was like,
so
good to know we're still a proper country.
No, the thing is, it's don't get me wrong, I am very upset about the death of Cat Friendly, but it happened at a good time because now we've got the summer to get used to Puckpedia.
Yeah,
and have just to mess around and figure it all out.
I will say
so for a different come back, start the season.
I will say for a different topic that we're going to talk about later in the show, I was looking up numbers and things, and when I was doing it, I did automatically put in Cat Friendly into my search bar and was like, oh wait.
Oh no, I typed C into Google and it just auto-filled Cat Friendly.
I will say, Puckpedia is great. It has the agent tools and things like that, which is really, really interesting if you're into that sort of thing, which we talked about when we were talking about Jeremy Swaven. Very interesting. It's very handy to see.
Yeah.
But I will say I just prefer the look of Cat Friendly. It was just so much
it was,
easier for me to look at.
Yeah.
I
miss Cat Friendly. We had fun. We had a lot of fun on Cat Friendly, didn't we, Emma?
Yeah, I just maybe part of it is that I don't like change, so that could be why I'm so hard done by this by Cat Friendly. But officially is in the property of the Washington Capitals, so RIP the site. I do hope for one day, we can have a really well done public digital database of NHL contracts, historically. I want to bring this up because it doesn't matter, but also I wanted to bring this up because it's hilarious. Ryan Sutter signs a 1-year deal with the St. Louis Blues. It's a 1-year min salary, so it's it's $775,000 per year, but he did get a bonus package with it, which could lead up to 2.25 in bonuses. Now, it depends on the games played. There's a whole breakdown structure of it. However, to note, Ryan Sutter is also receiving money from Minnesota and Dallas because of contract buyouts. Now, if you're to place the number of games that he plays in a season in around 40, which is about half the season, which is yes, I know he's 39 years old, but my phone keeps buzzing. But if we look at like historically what he's played, that's a very possible amount considering the past 3 seasons he's played 82 games. So he could play more than that, which would earn him more money in bonuses. But I'm being very conservative and saying, oh, he'll play 40 games because injury, whatever. But St. Louis will definitely need the body. It's St. Louis. Look at their roster. He could receive somewhere in and around the $9.25 million range across his contract, his bonuses, and his buyouts from Minnesota and Dallas. Now, you may be wondering, okay, but like, where does that place him? That would place him in and around 32nd as the highest player by cap hit in the entire league.
That's insane.
Which also, if you want to know what sort of players he is keeping company with, because I also wanted to know where he was being placed, like where that would put him in terms of which the player of skill set. If we start from around 9.5 mil, because that's fairly representative of probably what he'll get if he does play the full season. We start at Adam Fox, Brayden Point. Darnell Nurse is 9.25. Zach Werenski is 9.583. Charlie McAvoy is 9.5. Matthew Tkachuk is 9.5. Pierre-Luc Dubois is 8.5. Roope Hintz is 8.45. Timo Myers, 8.8. Mikhail Sergachev is 8.5. Ovechkin's 9.5. Mark Stone's 9.5. Dylan Larkin is 8.7. Sam Reinhart, 8.625. Cale Makar is 9 million. Andrei Vasilevsky's 9.5. Kirill Kaprizov is 9 million.
It's
Dougie Hamilton is 9 million. Jake Gensel is 9 million. Seth Jones is 9.5.
Oh my god.
Is that like crazy?
That's insane.
And that would be like, yes, I know that is cap hit coming from 3 different teams. Like that he's going against the cap on 3 different rosters. He's only playing for 1 team, but he is going against the cap of 3 different teams. But that is still like, that's the amount of money that he'll be receiving in 1 season. Probably
insane.
Playing like bottom 6 minutes in St. Louis. Like they'd put him on a line with like Matthew Joseph.
Yeah.
And like Kasperi Kapanen.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. I now he will like next year the buyout goes down drastically because the reason why it's so high and the reason why it's so close, like it's like over $9 million he could be getting is because he's receiving like 7.38 or something from Minnesota this year. But still, so like then it goes down a considerable amount. I think it's then somewhere in around the 800,000. But still, I just thought that was something fun to point out, that I was like, this is kind of stupid.
So stupid. Like it makes me giggle. It really makes me giggle.
Yeah. Also, yeah. It's just, yeah. So it's
so insanely just like stupid. it makes me giggle.
It's something else. But yeah. Also, Tij Iginla, the son of Jerome Iginla, signed his ELC with Utah, locked him in for 3 years. I don't know. I just thought that, dad's trip will be fun in Utah.
Oh, yeah.
Shane Doan and Jerome Iginla. Star-studded.
Yeah, you can say that again.
I do think it actually is absolutely hilarious. It's just because I was like looking through the different teams that Jerome Iginla played on when in around closer right around the draft, kind of because it was like because I saw like a conversation where someone asked Tij, it was like, oh, like, what are your what's your favorite memory or something surrounding like hockey or the NHL or something, and it was like he said, oh, like the time when I was a kid and like Nathan MacKinnon came over to our house for Thanksgiving dinner, which is like. So I was like, because Jerome Iginla played in Colorado for a few years, but like I just like that was one of those things where I heard that and I was like, what other kid can like, and now it's like, I would really love to see like I want to know what like Sidney Crosby feels. Because it's the son of the man who assisted the golden goal. But you scored and is now like in the NHL.
I feel so old. Oh.
But yeah, so
it's just crazy.
Oh man, I know. Anyways, congrats to him for signing his ELC.
Yeah.
And I mean it's kind of guaranteed when you go 6 overall, but yeah. Also, some more final news that I have is congratulations to Leon Draisaitl and Celeste Desert. They got engaged.
They did. Finally.
I will say, backwards hat when you're proposing is interesting.
That was a choice.
That was something else.
I'm just saying, Celeste, I would never wear a backwards hat proposing to her. That's all I'm saying. I'd wear it the right way around.
Or you wouldn't wear it at all. That's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah. It was like he went to all that effort. He was like made such a nice like all the nice flowers, and then wore a backwards hat. Leon, girl, no. Like, I mean, at least he wasn't barefoot. Yeah, it could have been worse. But no, congratulations to them. She looked gorgeous.
She did look gorgeous.
Oh my god, I saw the pictures and I was like, oh my god. My turn when?
Also as well, Owen Power got engaged. Good for him. Can we put an age minimum though, however?
Can he not? He's like 12.
He's younger than Simon. He is by like a couple months because he's born November. Simon's July.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what are we doing? Speed running. Like, I'm sure there's reasons. Probably one of them is like, it's like I guess like when you're playing hockey, you kind of speed run, like, you know what I mean? Like if you have to move around a bunch for hockey and things like that, and like you kind of speed run all the relationship things, especially if you've been together since like high school. Uh, but also at the same time, like, um, and also as well, like it's probably like there's probably like health insurance
Yeah.
and like it's easy, maybe it's easier with like getting a visa or a green card or whatever. Like if you because Owen Power is like Canadian and I'm assuming his girlfriend is as well because I know they've been together for since high school apparently. So then you would need like and if you're married and I'm sure like he has like a work visa and maybe it's easier to get like a visa for the US if you're I don't know how it works.
No.
I
Like,
think I think maybe the biggest nightmare if I was a professional athlete, like if I was an NHL player, like the the biggest headache in the world would be probably visa, and I'm sure
oh yeah.
that's what like their agents are there to help them with and stuff like that. Like I'm sure they get help with that sort of thing, but also like biggest nightmare. Like that seems like the world's biggest headache. And I can't imagine like playing like major juniors or whatever and you are Canadian and you get like I don't know, like you're like 15, you get drafted to fucking Erie. Like I don't know. I'm thinking like all the stuff that like Connor McDavid had to like worry about, and then on top of that, like he had to worry about like a visa because he was like in the US for longer than 6 months.
It's
like, oh my God.
like my thing is just it's like I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, Alan Power got engaged, good for him. And then I was like, how old is he again? So I went to check because I knew he was young, but I assumed he was like 23, 24. I was like, yeah, like whatever, good for him. Then I googled, how is Owen Power out here getting engaged? And I'm sat with a sprained ankle making edits on CapCut. Where did I go wrong? But it's just, I mean, good for him. Happy for him. It's just wild to me.
Like, when I'm in a relationship, I also like the last thing I'm thinking about is getting engaged.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. But yeah, so congratulations to them. I'm sorry, we still have like time to kill. Sorry, I'm trying to fill this up. It's been like kind of a slow week.
It's been a quiet
And I
week.
didn't really want to talk about like I don't want to be like Bean and be like nothing signings. But like I don't Oh, I mean Sam Dickinson also signed his ELC.
He did. Good for him.
Good for him.
You know what we could talk about? We had a Joseph Full sign of life.
Oh yes, we did. That was actually really cute. Joseph Full
It was
today
so sweet.
was at Ford Performance Center for a Leafs development camp. I guess it's like they run like summer hockey camps. So he was helping out a bunch of wee little children. It was very cute.
There was a girly selfie.
There was the goalie selfie. It's very cute. You could find all of that content either on Instagram or also on our Twitter, for sure.
Yeah.
Not the show's Twitter, our personal Twitters separately.
And my shameless self-promo. And on Archives Wall on Twitter.
The Joseph Wool Archive.
Which is the Joseph Wool Archive, which I spent too much time on that account.
It actually is maybe like the most in-depth, like non-stalkerish accounts.
Yeah, I'm just like, the thing is, if that man moves and there is any form of evidence of it on the internet.
On the public internet, by the way.
Yeah, on the public internet. It will be found there. As soon as. But yeah. He's alive. He's well. He's not having a hot girl summer in Europe.
No, he's not solo backpacking through Europe like one might assume. He's actually, I think for the most part, spent quite a bit of his summer in Toronto.
Yeah, because he was back in St. Louis for a bit, but then I think he's just been wandering around, doing bits and bobs.
Yeah, I will say that, like, based on like how like Brad Treliving sounded at the end of the season, I think it probably was the plan to have him stick a little bit closer to Toronto for most of the off season, just in making sure his off season training goes all right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Oh my god, no, it's just hit me. This is like the last episode. No,
I know. It's the last episode. I will say, Max. Man, I will. Josh Anderson got married in Italy. I think I severely underestimated how much Max Domi is online like that.
Oh, Max.
He posted and then he captioned, he was like, it was like, what was it? Hold on, I want to pull up the exact quote because I think the exact quote is not quote, but like the exact caption is hilarious.
Incredible.
Yeah. It was, I think about the Roman Empire every day.
Max Domi, my favorite chronically online leaf. I love him.
My favorite is that someone in the caption was like, Max, watch the Gladiator 2 trailer. That will really make you think the Roman Empire a lot. And he liked it. Max Domi will be seeing.
He's one of us.
He will be seeing.
Do you reckon he's his Letterboxd?
Does Max Domi? See, the thing is like, I like he is on like Twitter enough that he like he is on the internet enough that he probably like knows Letterboxd exists.
Oh my god, no, Letterboxd is down. I can't even check. How am I supposed to live?
Such a tragic day for you and Cal that Letterboxd is down.
I think you underestimate how much time I genuinely spend just scrolling through random lists and just like on that app. But it's been such a hard day for me. I don't even want to think about how bad it's been for Cal because
Cal spends a lot of time logging things onto Letterboxd, but also like the thing is like I think nothing has felt more like the OHL as a cult than specifically Josh Anderson's wedding. Because it's like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of Habs. Makes sense. Fitting for Habs to be there. Josh Anderson plays on the Habs. Oh yeah, here's Max Domi and Bo Horvat because they played the London Knights together. It all comes back to the Knights. I feel like a conspiracy theorist with my like stupid murder board behind me and my red string going, it's all about the Knights. It's all about the Knights. It all comes back to London.
Like, evidence onto a table. You just go.
It's all about the London Knights. It's all about London.
Oh. But no. I love Max. He's
so, I don't know, like
just one of us.
Just like, no, because the thing is like, if I know how we always say that like if he wasn't a professional hockey player, Matthew Knies would be like one of those guys that puts together like NHL compilations for TikTok, right?
Yeah,
that would be Matthew Knies, or like puts together like the silly like memes on TikTok. If he wasn't a professional, like if he wasn't an NHL player, Max Domi would be that like Twitter guy. He would be on hockey Twitter, but he'd be that guy who would be like, look at this cool fight. Oh, look at these stats. That's a really bad, but then it's like, here's this like really funny thing I said, and it would get like 1 million likes.
No, so if Max, if he was just like on a hockey Twitter, the Leafs Forever hashtag would be all over his account.
Oh my, yes.
Like, he'd be one of those people at anything, he'd tag it. And you know what? It makes sense for him. Like, you just look at him and you think, you frequently use the Leafs Forever hashtag.
Well, he does.
Yeah. Like, you look at me and just think, if you were on hockey Twitter, you'd be one of those.
Oh yeah. Like the ones who have the Leafs Forever hashtag in their bio.
Oh yeah.
Location Toronto.
Oh, I can just see the account now. I know like 50 of
them. Because we know about 6 of them. You can be like, oh, I can see the account. Yeah, because you can fill in about, off the top of your head, 6 accounts exactly like that you know.
They're just everywhere. But no, it's... You gotta love it. But... Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be fun to watch. He'll be fun to watch. I don't want to talk about the Leafs lineup though, because like it's a conversation that stresses me out because it's overtalked and overworked and
I just think there's so many bad opinions out there.
Yeah.
I just don't have it in me. But yeah.
I'm
trying to think if anything else has happened.
I don't think so. It truly, we have reached the slump of the season.
Yeah.
So with that, I guess we can talk about the fact that the season of the show is over.
No, I can't hear you.
Okay, when you say it like that, it sounds like we only talk to each other because of the show, which could not be further from the truth. We have the show because we talk to each other.
Yeah, it's not like the first thing I do every morning when I wake up. It's just like, oh, scrolling Twitter. Oh, Emma would like this. Let me send it to her. Then you have like 15 things to just wake up to and just go, oh my god.
Or sometimes it's like, I'm already been awake. It is noon. I am eating lunch, and you're like, good morning.
Yeah, but that's because my favorite thing to do is wait until it's just before midday for you and just go, good morning. Because it's technically still a good morning. For like 3 minutes. But yeah, we did it. We did like oh my god, next season is going to be our first full season. How exciting is
that? Is really exciting. So I guess we have some, I didn't write anything down. I don't know if you wrote anything down about it being some closing remarks, I guess, on the season.
I just kind of wrote, gonna miss you all.
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been a really fun part of, the routine of my week is twice a week recording these episodes. We've been doing it now. We've started the show in November after the Leafs came off of their trip to Sweden, and we've pretty consistently been pumping out 2 episodes a week for you guys, minus some hiccups along the way, but dodging around holidays and other things. But it's been an absolute pleasure. I really do love doing this. There's a reason why we've done 65 of them. We wouldn't have done this many if we didn't love doing it. we would have
No.
found an excuse to end the season earlier. Trust me, because it is a lot of work to do 65 episodes. It's a lot of work to do 2 episodes a week, but couldn't do it with anyone else.
Oh,
my best friend.
So for you.
And she's frozen. But
thing is, I drafted my end of season tweet a good week ago now, and it's just been sat there just waiting, just like looming, just like you're tweeting me soon. You're pressing send tweet.
But yeah, no.
It's so much fun,
and
it's made like what? Not that watching hockey wasn't fun before, because it was, but it's made it so much more fun. Because now I sit and I'm like, oh, that'll be fun to bring up.
Yeah, like it's definitely, I don't want to say like, because it's like beforehand we both knew a lot about the sport already. Absolutely. But it's helped, I think it's, helped us watch the Leafs and watch hockey in a different way. That's because, when we watch a game, we have to keep in mind of the fact that we have to talk about it later.
Yeah.
And, not sound stupid when we do. So it's been really, really awesome and really, really cool to, kind of slowly garner a small community of people who tune in every week. And it's been really fun. And it's been fun to, look at the analytics and watch the numbers and, all the data and stuff like that. See how long people listen for.
My favorite thing to do is to check the little like podcast app, and I'm just like, oh my god, like 15 people listened.
Yeah, like that's the thing. 15 people listen to an episode in which I'm 95%, where like, I think, I think my favorite thing is like, there's the episode where we talked about the California road trip, and we had like 47 listeners on that episode.
That's crazy.
And it's like, that's so cool to us. It's like 47 people wanted to listen to us talk about the Leafs, like, play games in California, like, it makes worth it, like, staying up that late for those games.
Sure. And like, it just baffles me that like people actually just sit and like listen to us, because I'm like, what do you mean? Because I'm just like, bro, you like listen to us just yap? That's crazy. But no, thank you to every single person who's listened, because it's made it so fun, especially like when people like tweet us about it, and they're like if someone like tweets at us or like messages us like something about like something that we talked about, I'm just like, oh my god, like that's insane, because it's like not only did you listen, but you cared enough to actually like talk to us about it, which is just, it's so cool and it's so fun.
Yeah, and it's like, it's really fun when like, we get new followers to the show, or we have people who will bring things up to us about being like, oh, I listened to the show and you guys brought this up and it was so cool. Or like to like be able to tell when people are listening to the show, and like you guys will send us messages and be like, oh, by the way, you mispronounced this name again, which like, I'm sorry, I try, okay? I really try. I try and make sure, like, if I don't know, I look up the pronunciation guide, but sometimes I am just a white girl from Toronto who cannot say shit to save her life. I really make an effort, but sometimes, like, Eastern European names really is where I always stump. Like, I always trip up there, and I try. I'm sorry. So apologies again for any name I've mispronounced throughout the season, but...
Yeah. We're working on it. We're getting there.
We're working on it, yeah. So in terms of like, because like I also want to take this moment to like look towards the future, as we've reflected on, like, we've had people on the show, which has been really, really fun, and we hope to have more people on in the future. We want to, like, I don't know, get some more of our friends on, because that's really fun.
I love having people on.
It's so fun because it's like another opinion that's not just the two of us, because as much as I love talking to Marcy, sometimes it's really fun to get someone who, like, it's a third opinion, who may not agree with what we say. Because sometimes we try not to have, like, morph into the same person, but
It happens a lot.
Happens. Yeah.
But no, we have big we have big plans.
Yeah, we have big plans. We hope to, I don't know, a dream of ours is to always get is to have a player on the show. So we'll see.
That'd be so cool.
We have big dreams for preseason. September is going to be a busy month for us, we think. But yeah, so be sure to, this is just your reminder, for updates and things like that on when we're going to be coming back, and maybe even a bonus episode, to follow the show on Twitter, because you will find and will receive all of your updates there regarding the show and when we're going to come back in September and all that sort of fun stuff. And if you want to continue to hear from us, our Twitters, our personal Twitters, are great ways to find us.
Yeah, and
we'll be there. We'll be there a lot.
Yeah, if anyone wants updates for the next 3 weeks of my life on what I'm up to in the middle of the Scottish Highlands, you know where to go. You know where to find me.
Yeah. And yeah, and if you want to know what I'm doing for the next 3 weeks as I finish up my last 3 weeks of school, also can find me on Twitter. But I also, as you guys know, I'm writing for Offside, so there's some pieces of mine that are coming through the pipeline for them.
Excited.
Very excited. Yeah. I'm really excited for you guys to read them. I'm a lot of there's labor and love of those ones, but yeah. I think that's it. Man. Let's go. I'm is any other news gonna break?
Can we have
I don't know.
Breaking news in the next 10 seconds, please?
Yeah.
Oh, it's sad. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do without a little Monday and Thursday calls, because I just
I'm also thinking of the fact of without the show, I feel like I'm gonna tweet a whole lot more, because so much. I don't know if you guys have noticed since I started the show, because that means you would have had to follow me on Twitter before the show started, which I don't know. If something happens, and it's kind of big and there's a lot of nuance and discussion, I won't tweet about it. I'll save it for the show, because I know the show is when I'm going to be fully able to not be confined by character limits.
So, and I do the exact opposite. And I just tweet anyway.
You tweet anyway, and then you come, and then you sit there and you nod along as I rant for 5 minutes about.
Yeah, I'm just started listening to you rant and looking through my list of points, and I'm like, yep, just take that off. That one too.
So yeah, which is oops. But yeah.
I hope everyone's enjoyed my puns and miracle references. I hope there will be plenty more to come. Don't worry.
Yeah. Don't worry, but yeah, no, thank you guys. Once again, thank you so much for listening to the show. It's been an honor. It's been so fun, and it's we get to do this all again in September when we come back. I'm so excited for the new season. I'm so excited to get to be able to cover a full season. We get to do the proper season build up and preview into the season, and then this, we get to do it all from start instead of jumping in halfway through.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's gonna be. I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
It's gonna be great.
And we have 4 nations to cover next season. We have some potentially plans or ideas for 4 nations that will bring you some different coverage from us. So who knows? But yeah, I know it's maybe a little bit of a shorter one, but it's been a slow week. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening. I think we'll end it here.
Oh no.
We'll end it here. So this show's meant so much to us. So it's a little bit sappy considering the fact that we'll be back in 6 weeks, but it is kind of
Just
like, I know it's 6 weeks, but it's like it's kind of a pretty major milestone for us to get through and, you know, get to the point in the season where we are going to take a break, because then we're going to be back next season.
Yeah.
So not our year 1, but like our year 3/4, 5, 6, right?
Something like that.
So yeah, with that being said, you can find all of the episodes of the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's 4th with the number 4 TH, and make sure you follow us there so you can get updates for when we're coming back, or if we have a bonus episode we have to drop.
Ooh.
You can follow Marcy on Twitter at 60 Leafs. You can follow myself at Pair B1. If you want to hear from us during our break, really should. We're hilarious over there. Thank you guys so much for listening. And for the first time since starting the show, we will not see you on Monday. We will see you at the beginning of September. Thank you guys so much. It's mean the world. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.